continuar en este caso con la siguiente ponencia y viene de la mano de Pavel Pratyush, de Mano a Mano. Es el Head of Engineering of ManoMano. Estudió ingeniería en el NIT de Raipur, en India, y su máster lo llevó a cabo en la Universidad Pompeu Fabra. Pues bien, nos va a hablar en este caso de los perfiles tecnológicos y la tecnología que hay detrás de un marketplace de alto crecimiento como es ManoMano. Así que, Pavel, todo tuyo.
Hola, gracias Carlos por la introducción y gracias Barcelona Digital Talent para invitarme a esta main stage de Jump2Digital'22. Entonces, justo después de la charla tan increíble sobre el metaverso, que es el futuro de digital marketing y el futuro de nuestro mundo, quería ponernos un poquito más en la realidad donde estamos viviendo nosotros y quería hablar de qué es un e-commerce at scale y quién, cómo y qué realmente hacemos. La presentación la tenía en inglés porque normalmente hablo inglés, que es mi idioma preferida, pero aquí como veo que casi todas las ponencias se están haciendo en castellano, quizás cambio en castellano, pero si habláis inglés, levantad la mano y hago en inglés. Okay, I see a lot of people raising their hands, so I'll switch to English. Perfect, thank you. All right, so a little bit about me. My name's Pavel. I was born and raised in India. I mean, you can see it from the color, you know, like you cannot miss an Indian guy, right? Not white. So again, great place to be in Barcelona because, you know, like the city and the government of Catalonia is really pushing towards diversity, inclusion, and bringing talent. So me being here, I'm very, very honored because I'm representing the minority in the world, although we are a lot in India, but still not so many here. So born and raised in India, I've studied engineering and computer science. Also, I'm a musician. I studied music technology at the Pompeu Fabra University here in Barcelona. And for the last 10 and 11 years, more or less, I've been in the digital industry, e-commerce mainly. Currently, I'm head of engineering at ManoMano. I've led in the past teams right from Shanghai all the way to Miami, working in different technology stacks, different architectures, multiple domains, big data, you name it. And just so that you know, for the local people, I was also CTO of a company called perfiles.com, another startup stories of the Barcelona startup ecosystem. And finally, way early in my career, I started as a software engineer in a company you may know called ebay.com. So, who of you here knows what ManoMano is? Does this logo ring a bell? Okay, so I'm going to do a quick advertisement of my company, ManoMano. If you're doing any home improvement or gardening or DIY project, you want to buy a taladro, un percutor, césped para jardín, lo que sea, go to ManoMano. We have 4,000 plus sellers dedicated towards you. These are the key figures. We operate in 6 different markets, starting in France in 2013 and most recently opening in Germany in 2016, 6 years. So the key figures, as you can see here, an unmatched DIY home and gardening experience, 50 million visits per month, 7 million active users. It's a unicorn startup, scale up now. We are valued for more than $2 billion US. The last funding round was last year around $355 million US. Not only to the consumers, we also have a platform for B2B, and we are constantly increasing and making sure that we are a specialized marketplace about ManoMano. Big numbers, 4,000 sellers, 16 million products, so it's hardly a problem. Whatever you're looking for, you'll get it. And blah, 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 blah. Going to the main topic here, tech. So, out of 1,000 people that work in ManoMano, we are more than 500 people in tech. We are based across 4 different offices, 2 in Paris, 1 in Bordeaux, and 1 in Barcelona. But around 35% of our entire workforce is full remote. Not a single day in the office, myself included. Well, when the beers are there, definitely you cannot have beer in the metaverse yet. So, how do we do it? We have a distributed architecture. All our code base is containerized and deployed in Kubernetes on the cloud. We use polyglot systems. We use a combination of multiple programming languages, architecture pattern, distributed databases. And above all, because we are so many, es muy difícil hacer algo bien con más de 500 personas, entonces tenemos que usar las metodologías ágiles de Agile at scale, entonces también es una cosa que me gustaría hablar durante la presentación de hoy. So we do Agile at scale. More or less, we have 400 microservices that is currently empowering all the sales numbers that you saw. 50 million visitors per month, 7 million active customers, 1.2 billion in business volume 2 years back. So, all right. So as the presentation says, the who, what, and how of e-commerce at scale, my main focus will be at scale and how these profiles that you see are currently working together at ManoMano. So the first row, you can see you have software engineer, you have product manager, you have engineering leadership, are pretty common. You know, any company of any size that is dedicating in technology, you need software engineers, you need product managers, you need engineering leadership. But then, for a company of our scale, we also need a lot of specialist roles and a lot of technical excellence. So I'm going to focus on those profiles as well. Who doesn't know what a software engineer is? I think most of you here, are you new in the industry? Raise your hands if you're a junior and you're looking for a job. Okay. Yeah, I'm not looking for a job, but I'll just raise my hand to show you. Okay. So, software engineer, right? At ManoMano, what a software engineer is. Basically, software engineer is a person who decides the how to implement something, right? And we call it software engineer. We don't call them programador analista, front-end, back-end, blah, 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 because you are an engineer and you're building software, and the language that you is just a tool to be creative, right? So software engineers, they decide the how. If you're a junior, when you enter the company, you are mostly focusing on very specific tasks. The more you grow, you become more strategic, focusing on performance, architecture, and all that strategic thinking. The same way, product manager. We don't have project managers at ManoMano because we truly build products, and I will explain you in details why we don't have project manager and why we are not calling them projects. The product manager is the one who decides the what and focuses on specification, metrics, and strategy. Early career, you're focusing on very, very specific tasks and domains, whereas later on, you're focusing on strategic impact. As I was saying before, those two roles are very, very common in all the companies, but we have these specialized roles of quality advisor and agile specialist. I'm not using the word quality engineer because we use advisors who make sure that we are following something called the shift-left testing principles, where quality is embedded in how we do things. And also, I use the word agile at scale because we don't have Scrum Masters, we don't have Kanban Masters, whatever. We do our own method of agile at scale, and we need different agile specialists for different levels of jobs. And furthermore, there are a few specialist roles I would really like to focus on. You see, we have site reliability engineers, we have security engineering, we have data scientists, we have enterprise architects, but I would like to also focus that we do have specialists who we call them as green IT or sustainability specialists. Sustainability is a word that is very, very common to ManoMano, and although we are in a marketplace business, our core business is selling things. Sustainability and responsibility is a big part of our day-to-day business and big part of our core values of a company. So here are some of the specialist work that these specialists do, and any company of our size definitely have specialist roles like this. So for example, chaos engineering. Those who are into breaking things, we have a dedicated team of chaos engineers who disrupt our day-to-day business. They do nuclear disaster scenarios where they will just shut down some servers, turn off some connections, and see how our systems are resilient and they come up. It's super fun to break things and see how everybody is like going crazy, right? Next, we have a big team focusing on security. Not only we have automatic security scans, so for example, as a developer, you may be developing something, so you go really cool programming language, Node.js, you go npm I, install something, something, something. You have no idea if that code that you just downloaded as a package has some vulnerability. So what we do is we have automatic security scans. So when you push your code towards production, the deployment pipelines, they already scan your code base, the version of your Docker file you're using, everything to make sure it's security compliant. We also simulate corporate security threats like phishing. And finally, at ManoMano, we also have a bug bounty program where we work with specialist companies and community to detect bugs and vulnerabilities in our platform. By the way, one of the most famous white hat hackers in France, Mr. Ronnie Carta, he is an 18 or 19-year-old person. He works at ManoMano as one of our security experts. And finally, I wanted to focus on sustainability and then go forward from here. We do focus a lot on sustainability as a company, and as an IT industry specialist, we don't really know that we have a large impact on the greenhouse effect of this planet. Our data centers, every time you browse something on the internet, when you upload a photo, when you upload a video on full HD or whatever, they are taking up server space and storage and computing, and they all contribute towards emission of greenhouse gases from our data centers that AWS or Google operate. So we have a big focus on sustainability. We analyze our carbon footprint. We take technical decisions to reduce our carbon footprint. And also we analyze our code so that our code operates much more smoother and is less impactful towards the planet. Going to the next section, you say, okay, Pavel, great, you have all these profiles, but you are selling stuff, you are selling gardening. Why are you talking about all this and talking sustainability? I will tell you that, okay, we do sell all this stuff, but also our initiatives, they are focused on some of the core values. And that, as a software engineer or a product manager or a security engineer, when you join ManoMano, you would be working on these kind of initiatives. So for example, one of the vision of the company being largest responsible online home improvement specialist. One of the initiatives we are working right now is, as a responsible company, we need to enable and promote the sale of sustainable product alternatives. As a product manager, you would decide, how can I classify some product as sustainable? Is it manufactured somewhere? What kind of company? What kind of materials? What kind of packaging? Once you get that information as a software engineer, you'll be working on, okay, how can I get that data? Do I write some algorithms to classify, generate a score about sustainability? As a security engineer, you will see, okay, all these new microservices that the guys have developed, is it secure? And as data scientist, you will be then seeing if your products are performing better and generating enough revenue, and our BV, our business volume, is increasing. As a market leader, another initiative that we are taking right now is we must rank in the top 5 of performance on web indices. Again, as a market leader, we have to have fast websites, fast mobile apps. All that is great, but at the same time, we need specialist roles to make sure that it is not coming at a cost of hurting the planet. So again, sustainability is a very, very key topic for us. And finally, another initiative that you work, or you may work if you join the company right now, is to increase our B2B customer base. The catalog selection and search for B2B users should be tailor-made for their needs. Another example of how the 5 roles I was discussing will impact here is you will identify what are the matrices, who is B2B, what kind of products we'll be selling, and how we can increase. If you're interested a bit on the technical architecture, I was not sure what kind of audience I will have. Some of you are juniors who are like recently in the industry. So I just wanted to create a very simplified architecture. So when you have 4,000 sellers sending data, you have 16 million products in the catalog, 50 million visits. Imagine the sheer size or volume of data. All the sellers, the data they are selling, because at the end marketplace is sellers selling their data and consumers buying it. All the sellers, when they're selling their data, they are sending us 10 million data objects a day on an average day. Today is Black Friday. It's probably 2 or 3 times. I don't know. I have not checked it. Likewise, on this side, you have 50 million page visits, 7 million active users. So you cannot really just build a really simple monolith to get this happen. You need around 400, 500 people. You need 500 microservices. You need the right language for the job. So at ManoMano, we use a mixture of Java, Kotlin, Golang for systems engineering. We use Node.js and React for front end, Python for data science. The data storage, we do not have a centralized data system or centralized data repository. We have decentralized data systems where for the right job we use the right technology like Postgre, Mongo, Redis, Dynamo, CouchDB, etc. And finally, as I showed you, that we have a lot of data throughput going on through our system. We use something called the event-driven architecture where most of the communication is asynchronous, and we use a technology called Kafka. We heavily rely on it for our internal systems because of the scale that we operate. Also, asynchronous stateless systems scale much better because we want to also really take use of cloud technologies. We want to make sure our systems are resilient. We can change the dimensions of our servers. We want to go more green. So having asynchronous and stateless systems really help us on direction. And finally, you will say, okay, Pavel, asynchronous is great for data processing, but you still have a mobile app, you still have a website, and we all know they work with REST API and all that. So yes, we do use REST for our request response use cases, but our mobile apps, they use exclusively GraphQL for all the synchronous data request response use cases. So summing up, how do we do it? 500 people, you talk about agile, you talk about sustainability. I just wanted to show you this one slider of how we organize ourselves at ManoMano. So this slide has two axes. The white part is tech and delivery. The black or the dark part is people. So we, like many people, we have sprint ceremonies, so we do iteration of 2 weeks. The review we do at a broader concept called train, which is collection of teams, or you can call it a group of teams. Then we have the whole tech level, where a lot of ceremonies actually happen at the whole tech level. And then finally, you have the whole company. We have tech events happening at the company level. So I'll start from the right to left. At ManoMano, we do something called program increment planning or PI planning, where the whole company sits down together for 2 days to decide and discuss what is important for the company and what the tech teams and the business team should focus on for the next 3 months. That is the PI planning. During these 3 months, we do cross-train synchronization to make sure that all the pieces are falling into place, because to deliver a big initiative, we need collaboration for most of the people. And then finally, that comes to weekly sync and sprint ceremonies within the team. On the non-tech part, within the tech domain, we do things like tech roadshow. We organize events led by tech team for the entire company, displaying things that we are building, best practices that we are creating, and all the fun that we are having. We have the disaster recovery sessions as well, where we go and break everything and make sure everything comes back up. We also have something called game day, where we use low-code, no-code technologies to tell everybody around the company that, hey, if you want to join tech and do something fun, you can come with us. And also, like everybody, like all the great teams are made of people, so we spend a huge focus on also doing team meetings and retrospective that are not linked to delivery. So retrospectives and team meetings are about people, how they feel, how they're doing, and not if we had delivered something. The delivery part is taken on the above side. So that's it really. I know it was quite heavy. Just wanted to do a recap. At ManoMano, we're doing agile at scale, more than 500 people, 50 million active users, 50 million page visits, 7 million active users, tons of orders, a lot of diverse technological solutions we are using, and to move all of them, we are using agile at scale that has a very good framework that allows us to move fast and still be sustainable and responsible towards the planet. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Pavel. Si te importa, te hago una pequeña preguntita y así ya cerramos con esto. Antes has terminado con sostenibilidad y me gustaría que me hablaras un poquito al detalle de esto, ¿no? ¿Cuáles son los pasos que está tomando un marketplace de alto rendimiento como es ManoMano en referente a esto, a la sostenibilidad? Un tema que aquí en las ponencias hemos pasado un poquito de puntillas, pero que somos conscientes de que es algo capital.
Sí, es que es muy fácil hablar de sostenibilidad, de ser responsables y no hacer nada. En ManoMano realmente estamos enfocando bastante en sostenibilidad. Como comentaba, que hacemos PI Planning cada 3 meses para decidir qué vamos a hacer durante los 3 meses. La verdad es que esos PI Planning se enfocan en ciertos objetivos que tenemos como compañía y para 2023, de 5 objetivos que tenemos como empresa, el número 2 es ser más sostenible y más responsable, sin perder el volumen de ventas, obviamente. ¿Y cómo estamos haciendo? Es muy fácil. Tenemos que tener métricas que realmente nos guíen hacia el camino que queremos tomar. Por ejemplo, cambiando del tipo de servidores que usamos en nuestros data centers, de Intel a EARM, nos facilita bajar el coste de greenhouse gases. Cambiar de AWS Region, por ejemplo, si tenéis los servidores en Irlanda, si movéis de Irlanda a Estocolmo, tenéis también más bajos emisiones. Entonces hay muchas maneras que normalmente no lo vemos porque no enfocamos en esos pasos. Entonces, como empresa hemos decidido de poner sostenibilidad como objetivo número 2 de la empresa y por lo tanto tenemos que actuar hacia ese objetivo.
Fantástico, Pavel. Pues muchísimas gracias, muy amable.
Gracias.
Y vamos a continuar.